Welcome to episode 3 of Bakemonogatari. Last time we resolved Hitagi Crab, and it was a great episode, so I am curious to see what the future arcs will have in store. I guess we're meeting a new girl and dealing with her problem this time. We'll see where it goes. After episode 2, I'm really excited to see what we get. So, I'm going to watch it and discuss it at the end. I've got the subtitles and timer here if you want to follow along that way, or you can pull the episode up on your own, but either way you want to do it, let's go ahead and watch. In 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, so here we go. Mother's Day. I love my mom. Out at a playground? I don't think that's accurate. Does everybody enjoy it equally? What if your mom's dead? You might be sad. Alright, just happened to come here riding his bike. He's here alone. I love the colors of the park. I mean, yeah, here, isolated by yourself. The park is yours. Stay here. But you're not alone. Somebody else is here in the park. Not anymore. Sister talking to him. Whoa, whoa. What is happening? Is this the OP? Did the OP change? No, they're not going to have a new OP in every arc, are they? Are they? Because before it was like entirely focused on Senjogahara and the stapler. Maybe there's a new OP in every arc. This is very different. This girl in her backpack. Well, anyway. I don't know if I can talk right now. I'm heavily focused on what's happening in front of me. There's a lot happening visually. But while the OP is happening, let me just say that if you enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel. New episode of Bakemonogatari every Saturday, in addition to all the other videos that I upload every day of the week. Also, check out my links in the description below. You got Twitter and Discord if you want to come talk and hang out. And you've got Patreon if you want to support my channel and help me to keep making these videos. You get a vote on what shows I react to and also get the videos a week before they go up on YouTube. So that stuff is cool. This opening is exhausting. There's so many of this girl. Everyone is her. She is everywhere. We will all become her in time. And she's super energetic and excited, and this backpack is crazy, and what the hell just happened? Alright, now we get into the fast text, so I just won't even bother trying. Oven, salt, snail, Mayoi snail. That would be this one. Alright. There was a snail in the OP. I'm sorry? It's just you. I knew she'd say it like a second before she did it. Kind of looking at the boobs, huh? So she found him. Plain impressed. I get it. Still looking at the chest, huh? Are you really looking at the dress? Is it? I don't know about the kanji. Is that right? Okay, I'm not familiar with this. All right. So we don't really know anything about Araragi's parents. He was just fascinated by the outfit because he wasn't used to seeing her in something like that. We just know he has 2 sisters. Because they started by saying that it's Mother's Day, and that everyone enjoys it equally, apparently. But then he's out here alone, just riding his bike around aimlessly. Sure. That's what I'm asking, because it's, he's just out here alone. But then there's two other people here too, so... Really? Namishiro Park? I don't know. I feel like it's probably sentimental. It is Mother's Day. We know about her issues with her mother, and she came here on this day. And again, that makes me wonder about Araragi. Like, I don't know what the deal is with his parents. He's just here alone on this day too. And then that other little girl was here. She does, in fact, have boobs. Look, I love the shadow. It makes it look like they're sitting under a leaf. Like she's holding up a leaf. Really, how do you want to thank him? Getting real close. Are we going to get along as friends? Oh dear. Really? Was that when the vampire thing happened? Yeah. You were pretty important to her. Kind of seems like it, right? The heart is beating fast. Her stare is actually kind of terrifying. There's no blinking, and I'm disturbed. She says as she towers above him, pushing him down. Ah! His friends. What would he wish for? Nice. We got Full Metal Alchemist, now Dragon Ball. Of course she is. Was that sweat? I don't know. That would be weird. Hey, at least she can go on the seesaw now that she has weight. Interesting possible requests. Why does it look like they're riding on stakes? What even is that? You think I'm some kind of pervert? You're a fucking ass. What is this? Is this a real thing in Japanese playgrounds? This thing that you ride on around? Is that a thing? I've never seen that. That's what you want to go with? Well, I don't know if I can deny that. Yeah, that kind of pushes it into different territory. Nothing sexual, though. Really? You guessed such a thing? Well, doesn't mean he doesn't want it. Are you? Do you? I imagined so. Late bloomer? Well, how old are they? They're in their third year. So maybe that is technically later than average. I don't know the statistics. But that you're still very young. You're still teenagers. You're in school. We saw a little bit of that before. So, very little about this new girl, Mayoi. Don't know what that's about yet. Who, what, when, where, why, how. The Fire Sisters? Are they twins? Because he said one is older. Might just be the older twin. Okay, so they have a mom. They're very close to the mom. The sisters are. But he might not be. Like, she gives them more attention than him. Wow. He tried to leave early in the morning, didn't even want anything to do with Mother's Day. I mean... what about his mother? She says it again. Nico Robin, it's embarrassing as a human being. I don't know what that is. Bad luck all the time would be pretty rare, pretty interesting thing. That's lame. Fights with his sisters all the time. I love that face. Well, I don't think we've gone there. That was a leap. Probably more often than not. Okay, we've what? I don't know what either of those are. Oh, is that okay? That's a weird. But we've gotten rid of the two extremes. He doesn't hate them. He doesn't want to fuck them. So that's good. That's bizarre. The fucking conversations between these two. We're just on talking about incest and weird marriages. You're not clued into that yet? That she messes around with you and tries to gauge your reactions? Well, that's good. The loyalty. I'll play around with your smallness. Is that an innuendo? Maybe she'll help him with this Snail girl if we ever get around to her. Yeah, he seems to be doing fine with that. Would you be my girlfriend? Give me a can of soda. That's fine. Just stop it there. Don't care what kind. There she is. Is she lost or something? Don't talk about the elementary school girl. She's going to ask you if you're into elementary school girls. Interesting. Hachikuji. Hachikuji Mayoi. Well, alright, let's see what her deal is. Don't say that. Don't say it like that. See, I told you that's where it would go. It was too obvious, man. You had to know. Hi. Well, alright. It just cuts back to him sitting on the bench, depressed. Don't say it like that. I got shot down. Don't say it. This sounds bad. I hate you. It's just weird that you came back. I love the colors. So nice looking. Why would you want to see her note? It's hers. Stay away from the child. Rejected. You sure did. Leave it alone, man. Are you trying to help this girl to make amends in your mind for angering your little sister? Don't slap. What are you going to do? You're going to hit her? Oh my god, he hit her! He hit her in the back of the head! He hit a 5-year-old child! Knocked her face into the board! I don't think she cares what your name is. You hit her. It does. When he said Koyomi earlier, I actually thought he was talking about his sister. Then I realized that's his last name. Or first name. It's one of his names. Whatever. Yeah, those are generally the people that give you your name. She hates you, man. Well, you hit her in the head. Any more? You're acknowledging that you already did and maybe considered doing it more in the past. Ugh. Man beast. This has just gone horrible. Senjo Gahara, can I call in the favor now? Can you maybe try to... Even though he said she probably doesn't get along well with kids. This relationship is off to a great start. Nice. You deserved it. Oh my god. No, don't do it! Oh my god! Holy shit. What a fucking epic action scene. This is... You look like a real piece of shit. Her panties were out. You are almost a grown-ass man fighting a 2-year-old. Yeah, and maniacally laughing about it. Yeah, that's what's happening. He fought seriously and was seriously proud. Now he has to stop and reflect on everything about his smallness as a human being. I don't think we can just leave it at that. She looks like she's dead. This is how you help. What a piece of shit. Guilt, not all the guilty. Try to help this girl get to where she was going as a way to make amends for literally knocking her out. That happened. You should literally call the police. He should actually be locked away. He abused a random child out in public extensively. I don't blame you. Yeah, your cooties are on it. No, then your words are going in my direction. I don't want that either. Is she still here? Is she still on the ground? Don't touch the child. You've done enough. Maybe you had this all wrong from the start. Sounds fake. A lost snail? She does have the backpack, like a shell. Oh, continue next time, apparently. Okay. Thinking about that, the shell, was the stapler supposed to be like a crab claw? I see. Clever. So yeah, I can't believe there was a new OP. That surprised the hell out of me. That, again, just the extra amount of effort. They didn't have to do that. Nobody would have expected them to do that. So what are we going to get, like 4 OPs throughout Season 1? I don't know how many arcs there are. I'm guessing just by standard light novel lengths. They're usually like 3 to 4 episodes per light novel. Of course, the first one was only 2. But yeah. We'll see. So yeah, that was an entire episode of them just sitting around talking in a playground, but wasn't boring at all because the conversation was really interesting and entertaining. And then we got her. Didn't expect it to go that way at all. Don't really know much about her yet, but we'll see where they go from here. Of course, we'll talk about it more in the discussion, but I just want to let the ED play and see the preview. Very simple visuals this time, but the colors were really striking. Preview quiz, what is it? Twins? No, you're not? Gemini? What? Pisces. Okay. That wasn't a... Was that a quiz? Okay. Well, are they twins or are they not? Gemini is twins, aren't they? I know that Pisces is like two fish, but isn't Gemini also twins? No? Was I wrong? Did I fail? I failed everyone. I'm no longer a Bakemonogatari. I lose. Damn it! Alright, episode 3, the beginning of the Mayoi Snail arc, with a new OP, which I really didn't expect. When it started, I was like, what is this? Because episode 1 had that flash in there of all those images that took place in the past, and then there was the OP after that, so I was like, is this just something else? And then I realized it really was a new OP. They seem to be doing a new OP for every arc, and I don't know if there's going to be like 4 or 5 arcs in this show, and that just shows even more so than I've already talked about the amount of care that was put into the show. They didn't have to do that. Nobody would have asked to do that. Nobody would have expected them to do that. They just decided, let's do it. Let's put extra effort in that we don't have to do, and give every arc, every girl, her own OP. So that's a fun introduction to Mayoi, because we don't really get a lot of her in this episode. She's really only in it at the end. Most of it's conversation between Araragi and Senjogahara, but the OP was fun. Don't know much about the girl yet, or how the snail thing ties in, but I do like how she has the big backpack. I like her design. It's fun. It's the snail look, which really makes me think, oh yeah, I guess that means the stapler was supposed to be like a crab claw. Okay, so we're going with a visual design type thing to go along with whatever animal their supernatural problem has to do with. But yeah, the new OP was fun. Visually, this was a lot simpler than last time. There was a lot going on last time with Senjogahara's backstory. This time, it's mostly in this one playground. Most of the episode is just them in this very simple playground having a conversation, and it didn't get boring. Whenever I watch episodes for these videos, I usually look up people's reactions to them afterwards, just like forums on my anime list and stuff like that, just to see general impressions of what people thought, because sometimes that's interesting to know, especially for something like this show, which is so unique, or Katanagatari episode 4, or just episodes that are great, episodes that aren't so great, see how people react to them. And it's a pretty mixed bag that I saw for this episode. Some people saying like, oh, I love the conversations, they're so fun. And some people being like, what the fuck, this episode was all dialogue. Why isn't anything supernatural happening? And I'm definitely part of the former. I really wasn't in any kind of hurry to get into anything supernatural or more complex. I was kind of in a hurry to meet Mayoi just because I was curious. I want to know what the hell her deal is. But I wasn't thinking, please get done with this conversation, move to a different environment. Not at all, because I thought the conversation was really good. I thought the dialogue was fun. Araragi is decent so far, and I like Senjogahara a lot, which I talked about in the previous videos. And the directing is still strong. The visuals, while they were simple, I really liked the colors, just these primary colors, surrounded just by this like white, vacant area. And the shadows that it cast were really nice, like when it looked like they were sitting under a leaf. Just the use of those simple colors in this environment, which I wonder if that has to do with the fact that this new girl that we're bringing in is a child, that we start off in a playground and everything is like colored very simply. I wonder if that was intentional at all. But yeah, just the way the colors and the shadows are used and everything, the interesting appearance of all the things, like, I don't know what the hell they were like. The things they're riding on look like steaks, first of all, and then not like vampire steaks, but meat. And then they're riding on the thing. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that. That can't be a real thing. That's not a thing in America, not that I've ever seen. Just a thing in a playground where it's a whole just a thing around the fucking entire playground that you ride a little thing across. Like, I don't know what the hell that was. That can't be real. But there's them playing on the playground, the way that it's directed, and you know, all the camera movements and changing of shots and everything always kept it interesting to look at. So definitely didn't get bored at all. So on to the actual content of the episode. It is Mother's Day, which is interesting because of course Senjogahara's whole deal has a lot to do with her mother, and now we're continuing that trend and talking about mothers some more, because immediately you have Araragi here alone in this playground on Mother's Day. So I'm thinking like, okay, what's his deal? What's his connection to his mother like? We don't know anything about his family except for that he has the two sisters. We don't know anything about his parents, and Senjogahara shows up as well, as does this girl Mayoi. So that's interesting that it takes place on Mother's Day. I want to see where that goes in the coming episodes with Mayoi as well. But of course, Senjogahara isn't going to be with her mother on Mother's Day. But the fact that she came here, she kind of brushes it off as not being sentimental despite knowing this place and being near where she used to live. I would say it most definitely is sentimental on some level. It's Mother's Day. She's not going to be with her mother. She's probably feeling lonely. And so come to this place from her past that maybe gave her comfort, despite the fact that things are changing around here, which are inevitable, which is sad and ties into her changing life and changing relationship with her mother. But yeah, I would say she came here on Mother's Day because of that. And of course, he's here because of the argument he had with his sister. We don't know exactly what the deal is with his mom, but apparently they're not close. His mom is close to the sisters, the twin sisters, but seemingly not with him, and I don't really know why. There's some dialogue where the sister says, well, if you're going to be like that, then no matter how much time passes, and it doesn't really continue from there. So maybe whatever it was that happened between him and his mom, just like, hey, if you continue ignoring her forever, if you continue not to talk about it forever, nothing is going to change. I don't know what's going on between them. But yeah, the fact that he was just gonna sneak out of the house in the morning, not even like acknowledge Mother's Day in his home, and that his sister stopped him and wanted him to stay. The fact that he's worried about apologizing to his sister and doesn't bring up apologizing to his mother, seems like he doesn't really care much for her. I don't know. We'll see about the details of that relationship. For now, it mostly just gives us some insight into his head and how he isn't very secure about himself. He's got a little bit of self-hatred there, like, oh, I argued with my sister, I can't even bring myself to go home and apologize, and he's not super confident about himself. Fire Sisters, also, that's an interesting nickname for them. I want to know what the hell that's about. But yeah, you know, his smallness as a human being that he feels that he has. A good way to start the episode with him coming here randomly, just aimlessly on his bike. This is where he ended up, and kind of starts out positively, like, oh, I can just go on my bike and go anywhere. I can just come here. I can just own this park. Like, I'm here by myself. It's like it's my own place. I don't even feel like I have to go home. But then it kind of turns into more of a negative perspective when he's like, oh, I'm alone. He sees Mayoi there, and he kind of gets a smile on his face, but then she leaves, and we come back to him, and he's sad again. Like, oh, alone again. So, as much as you might want to say that, like, oh, I have the place all to myself, it's great, but then it kind of sinks in, like, oh, I am actually alone, and I don't really want that. But then, of course, we have Senjogahara coming along to liven things up and make him not alone, and I love their banter, their conversations. There's a lot of fun stuff, a lot of funny stuff. Some stuff that I'm not into just because I don't understand it, because I'm not Japanese. A lot of her, like, vocabulary talking about puns and kanji, and a lot of it you can vaguely understand through context, or you can just understand, okay, that's clearly a Japanese reference that I'm just not going to get, so I'm not going to hold it against the show. I'm just not going to really understand it. Some of that, it's just kind of in one ear and out the other, because I don't comprehend the Japanese language very much. But a lot of fun stuff about, like, incest. It just gets into a whole long rant about, you dote on your sisters? No, are they eyesores? No, you're into incest? Oh, you could have this type of marriage where you marry your last wife's sister and all this stuff, and it's like just ridiculous stuff that I really like from Senjougahara, and how she teases him and tries to see his reactions to these things. And I feel like we get some of that from him too, though. Him kind of trying to gauge her as well, like when she's talking about all the different things that she could do to repay him, because she just doesn't want to be in somebody's debt, and going through all these options, which was also pretty funny. And like, what was it that she said? Like, she was saying all these different things that she could do for a week, and he's like, what do you think I am, a pervert? While like shoving his face directly into her ass. And she's like, well, I don't think I could put up with your shit for a whole lifetime. And he's like, no, the problem isn't that you think I'm too little of a pervert. Like, she's really mean to him, but it's funny though. Like, she says it in funny ways, so I enjoy it. And he beats up children, so maybe he deserves it. But yeah, when they're talking about that, and she's talking about cooking for him naked in an apron, he says after that, well, if we did that, I think it'd be hard for us to see each other as friends. And I think that's kind of him subtly, casually throwing that idea out there, because of course at first, he's staring at her, keeps looking at her cleavage, looking at her all over, eyeing her, because of course he would, and kind of wondering, like, what is she saying? It seems like she's getting at wanting to say that she loves me or something, and then he's disappointed when she just says, we can be really good friends. I think that was kind of him just casually putting that out there and seeing how she would react to it, like, oh, if we did that, it'd be hard for us to stay friends. And then saying that what would you say if I said I wanted a girlfriend? I think that's him just seeing what she would say, and so that's cool too, that he's not just like totally, completely abused in their conversations at all times. He says some things with purpose as well to try to figure her out just as much as she does with him. We have the virgin conversation where she reveals that she is too. She's being honest. That's good. She's talking about being loyal, that she will not desert him despite his smallness as a human being. So I really enjoy their conversations. We had Full Metal Alchemist reference before, and now we've got Dragon Ball. I just think it's fun listening to them talk. I think Senjougahara is really funny. Not so much fan service in this one, just a little bit. You get a little cleavage, a little bit of staring at the ass, a small little panty shot from Mayoi, not even like focused on or anything, just when she fell over, you just happened to see them, which is just a natural consequence of that. But yeah, it's just really whenever he's looking. So for the most part, the fan service seems to be just when it makes sense, like when the character chooses to behave that way, like Senjougahara did in episode 2, which tells us a lot about her, or when Araragi is looking, which he was this time. I wonder exactly what she thinks of him right now. Does she have deeper feelings? I think she does, or is at least starting to. In episode 1, she referred to herself as a tsundere, and I guess tsundere has a lot of negative baggage associated with it nowadays. I know it does from my perspective. A lot of the time you see a tsundere in a show and you're like, ugh, this again. Especially if they have pink hair and are a princess and have fire powers. That just kind of seems to be one of the go-to templates and are in a magic high school show. But yeah, with her, it doesn't feel like the typical tsundere. I don't even think I would be thinking the word tsundere had she not said it herself, but I guess technically she is somebody who's going to warm to the main character going forward, where she started out cold towards him. But it just kind of feels like she is just being guarded, which she is. She doesn't easily trust people and open up to them completely. So it kind of feels like she has these feelings or is developing them, but just because of who she is, isn't fully expressing them, which, yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, what a tsundere, should be. This is like how a real person acts, rather than the ridiculous bad tsundere that are often portrayed and what people have kind of come to know a tsundere as, so it doesn't really feel like a tsundere, but it should. Like, that's what it should be. I need to try to get that other kind out of my head and think about this kind. Think about, oh, it can actually be done well when you focus on crafting a character and not on crafting a tsundere. But yeah, again, fun stuff from her, like saying, I didn't want to show you my clothes, I wanted you to see them. Just small stuff like that that's really funny from her, and it adds to her character as well, like the whole tsundere thing, like just pushing off the active role and the responsibility onto him, like wanting to express those emotions, like I wanted you to be the first to see these clothes, but also being kind of closed off about it, like, oh no, I didn't want to show them to you. The distinctive difference there. I loved the shots of them on the bench as she keeps getting closer to him, and he's getting more and more nervous and just inching away from her, and she's just kind of crowding him out of the screen, and it's all claustrophobic, and she's like lording over him during that whole thing. I like that a lot. Small little mention about how he didn't make friends easily until like sometime last year, so I'm guessing that's when the whole vampire thing happened. Guess we'll learn more about that in Kizu Monogatari, I think, as far as I'm aware. But yeah, that's that whole thing out of the way. Then we actually get Mayoi introduced at the end. Hachikuji Mayoi, I believe, and she hates Araragi immediately, which was really funny. There was an interesting little detail where Senjo Gahara might be nearsighted, or he just has really good eyesight, where he asked her to read the characters on Mayoi's backpack and she couldn't read them from that far away. That's just an interesting little detail in there. Don't know if it has any grander purpose. But yeah, Araragi wanting to help this seemingly lost little girl. I don't know exactly why, and Senjo Gahara doesn't either. She's like, I don't understand why you're doing this. I don't know if it's just because he's nice, he wants to help this little girl who seems to need help. Of course, he was willing to approach Senjo Gahara despite being stapled in the mouth and help her when she needed it. I don't know if it's maybe to help because he feels kind of like a self-hatred for himself, maybe because of that, to help him get over that, fight against his self-hatred, maybe because he sees her being alone in this playground on Mother's Day just like he is, maybe she reminds him of his sister because she's this young girl, and he's kind of using this to sort of in his mind make amends with his sister. Like, I don't want to go home and apologize to my sister. Here's this other little girl that I can help, though. I don't know exactly what it is, but her just immediately not being into it at all, and him keep getting rejected by this elementary schooler until he eventually just goes over there and physically abuses her a lot in public and should be imprisoned for his crimes. But it's really funny the way it's presented. It's like, wow, you're kind of a piece of shit, but it's also hilarious just the way the way it happens when you're like, is he? He's standing there like this. Is he gonna do it? You're thinking maybe he's contemplating it, but only in a jokey way. No, he does it. Bam! Face into the board. She's rightfully pissed. And then they just get into a fight, which was really fun. Like him grabbing her, flinging her around, but then she grabs the hair, and it's this back and forth, her elbowing him in the head, and it's really fun. And just him laughing maniacally while it says, like, this was a high school boy seriously fighting an elementary school girl, and seriously proud of himself. Oh wait, that boy is me. Like, just the way it's treated makes it funny, despite being a genuinely horrifying situation. And an actual crime. And that you have Senju Gahara's reaction to it helps as well, where she's like, I don't want to touch you, and I don't want to touch that note that you touched, because it's like, yeah, you're kind of being awful right now, but they're going to help this girl find this destination that she was apparently trying to get to. I don't know if she was actually lost, though, because the way she says it with her eyes kind of off to the side and felt like she kind of hesitated, I don't know if she actually was lost. So this place that she had on this note, I don't know what the deal is, if that really was a place she was trying to get to, if there's anything gonna tie in with her mother, any reason why she was here on Mother's Day like they were, what the connection is with a snail, what her supernatural issue will be. I don't know. We don't really know much about her yet, or about the Snail or her problem. This is mostly more of a Senjugahara Araragi episode with just her in there at the end, but I loved their conversation. Visuals were fun. A little bit with her at the end was entertaining, so I definitely want to see where she goes. She seems to have forgotten the abuse, because she gets, like, knocked out, I think. The more you think about it, it's like, God, that's horrible. He knocked her unconscious. She wakes up and she's like, what happened? I had a dream about a high school boy beating me up. He's like, yeah, dream. It just felt really real. And she's like, yeah, I guess that's all it was. So maybe for now they'll get along if she can forget that happened. But yeah, I don't know what her deal is going to be, so I'm excited to see going forward. I really liked how Senjugahara's arc played out, so if this can be anywhere near that good, we'll see how it goes. And maybe Senjugahara helping him with something that'll be this. Maybe she'll have to play a role in helping out Mayoi with whatever, and then there's him apologizing to his sisters, finding out whatever the deal is with his mother. There's a lot of stuff that could happen over these next few episodes. I don't know how much of it will be saved for later arcs. Now I know we've got different OPs for each arc, so like this whole show I feel like is going to have a lot of care put into it. So whatever happens going forward, I'm looking forward to it. So that's about all I have to say for now, I think. If you want to talk about this episode, we can talk about it more in the comments below, or on Twitter, or Discord, any of that stuff. You can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos, and you can check out the Patreon if you want to support me and get cool rewards. So all that stuff is linked down below. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one.